Alright, so this is the story of the real life Annabelle doll, which of course is a doll, a Raggedy Ann doll, back when Raggedy Ann was on the rage. And basically the doll that Larry does have an actual demonic spirit attached to it. Based on the Annabelle, movies, Annabelle coming home, sorry, whatever that was, I can't remember what they called the moment, but yeah. And so this is basically the real, actual story from my paranormal investigating um, notes and information I found. It's basically like the movie. I mean, there's some scary, stuff. Let's just keep it PG. And so this is basically the story. Alright, the Annabelle doll was originally given to a young female nurse as a birthday gift from her mother in 1970. Soon after that, she started noticing strange behavior in her apartment. And it was the girl, her sister, and her fiance living in the apartment. And so basically said that it saw strange behaviors. The doll would walk up and move by itself. It would teleport from one room to another, like literally go from one room and then end up in another room where it wasn't, or let's say the doll was just like this, or it might be like this, or it wouldn't look the same the way they kept it. And also it's a weird, strange story. There's one story from what they said, the actual people who owned it, who used to own it before Ed and Lorraine Warren took it over, is that the actual doll, went to the kitchen, sat on the table, slowly put its hands up on the table like this, and just stared at them with blinks just in the mid-space, as if it was waiting to have breakfast, dinner, or be part of the conversation or something. Freaked the hell out of them. If that was me, I think I would run out that house like a bat out of hell. That would scare the living heck out of me. Some doll just walked by itself to the kitchen and sat on the table. That was a bit some freaky stuff. Anyway, back to the story. So, the Annabelle doll would be placed in one room, and then left there, it would be sitting in another room. The family saw the doll in a kneeling position, which is unusual for any Raggedy Ann doll since it was full of fluff and not joints. Which is a good point, because I never had a Raggedy Ann doll, but I've seen them in stores, back when I was a kid. And they're fluff, like it's fluff, stuffing, but no joints. So that's very unusual for a doll like that to even do that. That's a bit strange. And there was a time where the Annabelle doll sat itself at the table chair, he said. The table and the chair, and lifted the hands on the table by itself. Two of the girls saw this happening. Which obviously is the two sisters. Once the sisters got home, the doll's hands, both the doll's hands, were covered in this blood-like substance, and they didn't know if it was blood or not. But they said that the texture and color was the same exact thing as blood, and they didn't really say for sure if they got it tested to see if it was blood or not, or whose blood. But them saying that, they suspected that the doll might have, done something bad to somebody or an animal. And with demonic spirits, who knows, that spirits like that can be really, really dangerous to deal with, especially demonic. You don't want to mess around with that KBGB stuff. And one of the daughters called in a woman who was a psychic and a medium, and she found the doll and supposedly said that the doll was a 7-year-old girl trapped in it. They were told so basically the medium told them that, this is a 7-year-old girl and all this stuff. And then time went on, they bought a bracelet for the doll. They made the bedroom all nice and girly and stuff, treat like a little girl. And then they actually called a Catholic priest, since usually Catholic priests are the ones who do exorcisms. I'm not Catholic, but I believe in exorcisms, and I would perform an exorcism if I had one that to be done and stuff, But and then so they called that, and then they look up public records, And the Catholic priest they called went to his superiors, and they actually went on public records, different records, and actually showed that this doll who claimed to be Annabelle, there's some last name but I can't remember, and they actually said this girl never ever existed, that it's false. And so they took another set, and then another psychic medium came in and said, and just told him, hey, just straight up told him, hey, this is not a little girl. This is a demonic, evil, bad spirit in this doll. Which of course you think that would, and they still kept the doll after that. Which you think after finding that out you would want to get the heck out of there as soon as possible. I would want to bury it in the woods or leave it in the woods or leave it somewhere and never don't want to deal with that ever again. That would freak me out for sure. Ugh. I mean that'd be just as bad as using a Ouija board, And then it's like they teach, and it's like giving a Lorraine Warren, who are Catholics but also demonologists, which is the study of demonic, spirits, and they're one of the very few people who are recognized by the Catholic Church of demonology. I don't practice it personally because I think it's a little bit dangerous waters, and you want to tread carefully, but that's what they did. And so let's see. Yeah, and it's like, then in basic, Spirit Information 101, they were told by another individual that human spirits cannot possess objects or people, which for most parts true. It's possible for human spirits to, but for the most part it's not. That only demons can do that, which to what I know as I write, these notes just to put, that's fine. That's something else. Let's disregard that. And like I said before, the spirit who claimed to be a 7-year-old girl, she told both sisters that, and said and then the doll claimed that she was a sad, lonely girl, had no one to play with, and was shy. Is it okay if I stay inside this doll and stay here with you? And so, of course, the both sisters felt bad for the doll this is before they knew about, the lie about the demon. And they said, of course you can. And they said okay to that, and saying okay to that, I mean, you're consenting to this spirit to stay in your house. So it's like, like someone moving into your apartment or house saying, sure, go ahead, come in, just stay here. And once you do it to a spirit, it's hard to get them out. You need a really, really faithful person who's good at faith, but also good at, exorcisms and stuff to exorcise the spirit, out. Which is possible, but that's a big process. It's a bit difficult, especially since some spirits will fight that and try not to leave, and they might, you might see lights flickering, things flying around the house or something. And this is a clear sign that, and obviously, that's a demonic spirit, just from the signs, the blood and texture on the hands moving by itself, the kneeling, the demonic possession has of this doll, and it's making it and doing questionable things. And even the fiance, that the one girl's fiance, he kept on having dreams over and over again that the doll was coming after him and hurting him and taking his life, nonstop, to the point where there's such a point where he actually got clawed by the Annabelle doll, and he ended up getting hurt by it. And obviously at that point, that's when they finally got it, doing, we gotta get this doll the heck out of here. That's why basically when N91 came to take the doll. And like I said, they treated it like you can't even know it wasn't. And eventually they were told by a psychic medium that, that was the demonic spirit. And the fiance's, and unfortunately, before the fiance had the bad dreams, he didn't want to believe any of this, and was a spirit, paranormal denier, and didn't think it was, what they said it was. So he just said, but it's just kind of funny because then he also said it was a bad idea and could lead to bigger problems. So it's kind of like, his idea of thinking is kind of questionable. If you don't believe in it, why would you think it's dangerous? And I knew if I'm not trusting him, obviously, because spirits can tell your energy. Can tell your energy, whether it's just like a person, just like you can tell someone's energy if they're calm, angry, if something that you can tell by their body language of what they're thinking. And obviously, had, nightmares of the doll, attacking him violently and like non-stop, doing like that. And the point where he woke up getting all scratches and all that stuff. And there's one account where he said that he walked towards the doll and he fell to the ground in pain. And he said it felt like 6 claws were scratching on him, on his chest and his actual back. And he ran upstairs to see his shirt was bloody and scratch holes. After that, the woman finally, the two of them finally, after you think that they would discover stuff, they would realize. They finally realized that it was that 7-year-old girl, obviously, after that, and after they contacted the other medium. So the band was contacted, probably the most famous paranormal investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren, God rest their souls, since he passed away in 2005, and she passed away in 2019, a little bit after the Conjuring movies were already made. And obviously they contacted them, and they pretty much, when Lorraine Warren came in and confirmed also that, the doll is evil. Like, this is an evil spirit that needs to be locked up, or something. To which, and Lorraine do that. They go and take the doll. The couple's obviously happy, which who wouldn't, And they go driving, to where their and the Lorraine Cult Museum is, where it still is today. Which you can, which I'm pretty sure their son-in-law runs now. He runs it and takes control of the Annabelle doll to keep it safe. And while they're driving, they're having car problems. To which eventually, Lorraine Ed Warren, messes around and scuffles and beats up the doll a little bit and gets it to stop and says some prayer and pours holy water on it. And eventually, once he poured holy water and wrestles with the doll a bit, the car was worked perfectly. And according to what they said, from what I heard, they even had it checked like there was nothing wrong with the car. From the mechanics, so that they just assumed that it might have been a doll, which could be a good chance. And obviously they bought the doll there, and originally it wasn't in what we know today as to the box with the devil tarot card on it, the positively do not open sign, that big crucifix cross on top of it. But indeed, it was just police tape at the time. And there was a time where actually a Catholic priest came in to cleanse the room and cleanse the energy in the room. But the rest of it, because they had a whole bunch of possessed things from different cases. And so they had the priest come in, and he came and actually got a bit violent with the doll. They just took the tape off. And they told him, not to mess with the doll, but he did anyway, of course. Took the doll and threw it far across the room. And he even said, and he even made a quote saying that the power of God is more powerful than the devil. Which is true in every way. God is way more powerful than the devil, or any of the fallen angels. But like Lorraine said, which she said, and it's actually true, God may be more powerful than the devil, but we are not. And so, of course, but he said he didn't tell him that until after the event, where this priest was coming home, had a brand new car, brand new sports car, and got into a head-on accident with I believe it was head-on. It was either head-on or side swipe, but some kind of accident with a semi truck or tractor trailer, whichever you prefer to call it. And he survived the accident, but he was in the hospital for a while. And eventually, he said to Ed Warren, he said, "Hey, I really should have listened to you. I really should have." And that's what he said. He basically said, like, God made me more powerful than the devil, which is true, but we are not, which is true. Which is why, as we as human beings created by God have to be, of course, careful, and especially around the spiritual world. And then, of course, there's another time where this guy and his girlfriend came into the museum, and he thought he was the hot shit, and would come and started poking at the doll's case, because at this point it was in that glass case, and he was knocking on it, pointing at it really hard, and antagonizing the doll, making fun of it and everything. And then him and his girlfriend left, laughing about it and everything after they got kicked out. And then, of course, when he was on his motorcycle, he went into the motorcycle and got into a head-on collision with I believe it was with a car. Yeah, it was a car accident. And he died on impact and was dead on arrival, or DOA. And she survived, but she had to go through physical therapy and a long hospital visit and everything else. And she actually reported back to them, told the story about it, and said that, and from what her story, supposedly that the boyfriend, before he died, he saw the doll, looked like he saw the doll, in the rearview mirror, which caused him to swerve off and hit the car, which ended up causing his unfortunate passing. And like I said, the doll today is still in the case, but the son-in-law takes care of the doll and keeps it in the case. And even their daughter, even the daughter of Ed Warren even says, that she doesn't want to go anywhere near the doll. She doesn't stare in the doll. In some cases, people actually said they stared eye to eye in the doll, and they saw it either move, or they felt some people claim to have a headache feeling, or just a horrible feeling, in general, and chills down their spine just from staring at this, possessed doll, and all that stuff, so it's, this has happened plenty of times where people all get possessed things and stuff, which is why I would say, usually if you come in possession of possessed things, you kind of want to have experience or a lot of knowledge in paranormal things and paranormal investigations. I've done it for years. I was always interested in it, so I did plenty of research. And of course, before I bought the doll, I did the research and while I was waiting for it to come, so that when I had a spirit attached to a doll, they'd often a very a well-known seller on eBay, and really good buying rates. And it's actually true. It's very active, but it's a peaceful spirit, and it's something I can learn from to learn more about the paranormal world. But at the same time, I'll be safe. The worst thing that happens is the worst thing I ever experienced maybe is touching in the back, there's a nice hand, calm hand on the back. My real name being obviously not Smart Wolf, but my real name being whispered, or the meaning is from Wolf Team, because we all around the doll. The specific room that's a room that nobody else goes in. It's a domed room, so it doesn't, no one's getting haunted or anything, and no one's getting bothered. Worst thing it does is moves around, or sometimes it looks like the face has a facial feature, but then disappears real quick. It'll move from one position, from one spot, and then go to another spot. But that's the worst you do, or you just have a feeling of that there is a presence there, but you can't see it. But that's the worst thing. And you can find ones that are spirit, that are safe. But there are ones too, or it can be dangerous or scary or a bit frightening, So it's definitely something you want to do. If you do it, is you always want to do your research. If you know somebody who does paranormal, obviously you want to talk to them, and you want to make sure that you communicate to them about this and learn as much as you can. Take notes, as I did it all the time when we communicate with it. Take constant notes, all that stuff. That's basically this. But anyway, before I go on about that too much, that's pretty much the story of the Annabelle doll. There's not a whole lot of storyline with it. And I could do more panels. So far, you guys have the conjuring video. Maybe somewhere. So I can do more paranormal type of videos like this based on that, on paranormal universe and stuff if you guys want. So also remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button, and ding, bell icon to notify videos. And it's really late, so I'm getting this video here because it's really late and I'm really tired. And right now recording, it's 12:50, so I go at night, so I need to go to bed. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see